The Wings were 6-1 before Kane and now 2-9 since. Chemistry is gone. 4 guys are chasing the puck and leaving the front of the net open. Turnovers in their own zone, and there's no checking. It's all caps and had some exclamation points at the end of that. Can't disagree with that too much. And we've seen too many turnovers in their own end, and the lack of checking. Yeah, that's always. I think it's something Red Wing fans have been bitching about since I can remember. They need a big defenseman who's going to hit people. The game has changed, but I still think you need somebody to hit somebody. Like to see that more. Make some guys pay in front of the net, but do it in a smart manner, because you certainly don't want to put yourself shorthanded. The goaltending is abysmal. All of them giving up weak goals and massive rebounds. The defense is not great. Pinch when they shouldn't. There's way too many odd man rushes. Struggle too much with the first pass out of the zone. Thanks, though. Great show. That's Jim in Rochester Hills. You're welcome, Jim. And I think all of that is probably true. I don't think it's not a problem that's plagued them the entire season, although some people will say that they just got red hot in the beginning of the season, and this has always been an issue. But it certainly has been an issue in the last 11 games when they've only won 2 games. But I think the good news is it's something that you could point out to on film really easily and say, here's the problem. Can we fix it? Yeah, it's strategy. And compare that with the Pistons, and you're like, okay, what's the problem? Well, you could point on the tape and say, well, this guy, and this guy, and that guy, they're not good enough. That's not an easy fix. You have to turn over the entire roster, or it's certainly a huge part of it. Red Wings have a decent roster. They've got a playoff caliber roster. So the problems are more systemic in how you're going to play and schematic and how you're going to play defensively. So that part I'm excited about. The goaltending is different, though. It's part of the defensive problems. I think that you can get a good fix by adjusting how you play defense and asking your players to do more. But the goaltending is a kind of a separate issue for me, and I think that they need to find a better goaltender, frankly. Seider and Raymond are in their 3rd seasons now, and they should be exerting themselves as borderline stars, but they're just playing average. That's part of the problem. Well, not every first-round pick is going to be a star, okay? I think we have lofty expectations for those guys, but I would say this. Mo Seider's still a really good hockey player. A defenseman who's better than a point every other game. I don't think he's playing his best defensive hockey right now, but that can change. Lucas Raymond's actually off to a pretty good start. He's got 26 points in 35 games. Seider has 22 in 35. Well, both of these guys have played all the games, and I think they've done a pretty decent job on the offensive end. Defensively, that's where the things need to pick up a little bit more. And if you're going to be more defensive-minded, then you're going to see a drop in the offensive production. So be ready for that, okay? Raymond's 3rd on the team in goals scored this year with 10. But he's a -8 overall. Now, the plus-minus statistic gets manipulated a little bit, but I think he just uses a general rule there to see, okay, I can make a hasty generalization perhaps on the defensive ability of the player or what they're doing at this point. And right now, Lucas Raymond at -8, Mo Seider at -2. You expect a little bit better out of both of those guys. But offensively, they've both been pretty good this year. So I would disagree with the ticket texter a little bit on that. Is it too early to question Coach Lalonde and his ability to get this team over the hump? I think it might be. I do trust Steve Yzerman in this. He's known Derek Lalonde for a long time. I don't think he's going to, wait too long, but I think he's got an idea of what's going on there. And I like Coach Lalonde, but I think there's a sense of urgency at this point, 35 games into the season of an 82-game schedule. You're almost at the halfway point. I think the sense of urgency is going to start to heat up here. Let's see some better hockey. Now, we did know that the beginning of the season was going to be a tougher stretch. It's a tougher stretch of games. But to get a game like last night, I did expect them to win it, and they just they got off to the bad start, give up a goal early. Then they scored, and then they gave up another goal real quickly. Then they scored and they gave another goal real quickly. And then they gave up 3 more real quickly. And that was trouble for them last night.